This is Lyqa Maravilla, a registered psychometrician, a trying hard educator, motivational speaker, and author. And it's time for us to share stories, insights, and lessons as we keep trying hard to be better together. Say that they need to take time to find themselves? Well, yan ang problema na susubukan nating solusyonan in this 3-part series. First episode muna tayo. Today, we're going to talk about trying hard to know yourself. Alright, so welcome back to the Trying Hard with Lyqa podcast. Thank you for joining us sa conversation na ito. If you haven't followed the podcast yet, go ahead and follow it. Marami pa tayong mga conversation soon with me and my friends and people I've looked up to for all of my life, and now I get to ask them some really meaningful questions. Pero ngayon, solo muna tayo. Again, this is the first of 3 na podcast episodes in which we will try to answer yung age-old question na yan, na who am I? How do we find ourselves? Ano ba talaga ibig sabihin ng identity? And ano yung mga steps that we can take to find who we are? Or more importantly, who we can be. Okay? Now today, not today pa, no? Pero today we're going to talk about trying hard to know yourself. The entire series is banking on something that I wrote in my journal decades ago, which is this: identity isn't found, it's made. A lot of people say kasi na when you talk about identity, hahanapin ko, di ba? Hanapin ko yung sarili ko, hanapin ko yung identity ko, hindi ko alam kung sino ako. Pero I've always operated under this assumption that identity isn't something that you find, na matatalisod ka sa pagkatao mo somewhere at makikilala mo yung sarili mo that way. I believe that it's something that you make. Ibig sabihin, your decisions, the steps that you take, the habits that you form, make you who you are. And yun yung operating na principle nitong mini-series na ito. But before we even try to be someone, the first question we need to ask is, who am I right now? You know how I always talk about the now and now what principle. Ibig sabihin, now would be the recognition of how things are, the reality of the situation. And so we will start with that even in this series. We have to know ourselves and who we are right now. So how do you try hard to know yourself? There are a few things that we have to ask ourselves. And these questions, or itong mga bagay na ipapalista ko sa inyo, may not be easy to deal with. I've had a friend, and ito rin yung reason why I came up with this series. No? I had a friend who years before asked me that question. Sabi niya, I'm trying really hard to be a good person, to be a good mom, to be a good businesswoman, to be a good partner. Pero there's something in me na hindi ko alam if this person that I'm becoming is the right person. Kung siya ba talaga yung gusto kong maging. And again, a lot of that is banking on this question: who are you right now? Kilalanin muna natin yung sarili natin before we even dream about turning into someone else. And that level of honesty is something that we really need to engage in and to have. Kasi you can keep fooling others. And we've seen that happen so many times before with so many people. You can try to act a certain way, speak a certain way, behave a certain way to get away with things. Pero at the end of the day, when it's just you sa bed mo, ikaw at ang journal mo, ikaw at ang reflection mo in the mirror, are you truly who you say you are? And so if you're ready to engage in this conversation, if you're ready to really pick it apart and see yung mga parts and see what you can do then with the existing parts that you have, maybe this episode truly is for you. So who are you? Okay, first question that we need to answer. Now, this is a bit of an activity. So if you have a pen and paper, if you have your phone with you, we can just type it in some notes or somewhere else, no? But I want this to be as interactive as possible. As much as hindi ko kayo nakikita, no? Sana we can do a workshop or something, siguro after the pandemic na lang, following this structure. But what I want you to do first is to write yung column ng likes and dislikes. This is a really safe and really simple way to get the entire process started. I want you to ask yourself, what are the things I like and what are the things that I don't like? Okay? Now, it doesn't have to be major. For example, sa akin, something I like ay spicy food. Something I dislike, I bland food. Okay? Hindi ako mahilig sa pesa. If you're familiar with that, di ba? Yung sinabawan na isda. Okay? So, yun, like and dislike. Ano yung mga colors that you like? What are the shapes that you like? What are the books that you like? The movies that you like? What are the ones that you don't like? Right? And just list everything down. Okay? Take stock of your likes and dislikes. That's the first step. Now, if nagawa mo na to, and again, you can feel free naman to pause this podcast if you're still writing things down. Ang next na question will be a little bit harder na. But once you're in the habit na kasi, nakapagsimula ka na, okay, this moment is about me. The next few minutes, the next few hours is about me being honest with myself, vulnerable with myself, and really just putting everything on paper, mas madali na yung next na step. Okay? Now, the next step is this. After you've answered kung anong likes and dislikes mo, what are your strengths naman? And challenges. Now, I keep saying this kahit noon. I don't look at weaknesses as weaknesses, but these are just challenges in life. Things that other people may be better than you. Yung mas madali sa kanila. Okay? Mas mabilis silang matututo about yung mga bagay na yan. O kaya yung mga character traits na meron ng iba. If someone is confident when it comes to speaking to others, someone is bold when it comes to stepping up, volunteering, right? These are just challenges. Okay? Not necessarily weaknesses. So I want you to have a column then, okay, after your likes and dislikes, a column for your strengths, and then a column for these challenges. Now again, you have to be honest with yourself. But at times na you feel na, okay, wait lang, strength ko ba talaga yon? Or parang wala akong nahahanap na strength. Which is, I know some of you may be listening to this, tas yun yung iniisip ninyo, parang, coach, wala naman akong may susulat kasi wala akong strength, wala akong challenge, hindi ko alam. Basta I'm just a regular guy or girl, di ba? Parang normal lang yan lahat sa akin. But what I want you to do, if in case ganun yung iniisip nyo, would be to ask around. Okay? So ask your friends, ask your parents, ask your partner, your spouse, di ba? What's something that you think I'm good at? And what are the things that I'm not good at? For example, sa akin, ano bang strength ko? Siguro one of my strengths, lalo na in the context of the pandemic, is being alone with myself. I can be alone with myself for hours on end, for days on end. And that could be a strength because I have time to think. I have time to reflect. I have time to piece my thoughts. And out of those thoughts come these podcast episodes, the videos on YouTube, advice that I give on TikTok. And that is because I spend time alone with myself. So that could be my strength. Now, on the other hand, challenge din siya kasi wanting to be alone all the time can be unhealthy. Diba? Kailangan mo pa rin talaga to find your people, find a community, get to spend time with your friends. And yun, it can also be a challenge. Now, one of the other challenges that is something na pupunta sa isip ko ngayon is how challenging it is for me to find directions or look for something sa map or to get to a place. No, it was never really one of my strengths. I'm the type of person na pag sumakay ako sa kotse or sumakay ako sa Grab, di ba? Minsan nakakatulog pa nga ako. Tutulog ako. Gusto ko, pagising ko, nandun na ako sa lugar. Hindi ko alam necessarily kung saan dumaan, nasang lugar na kami, no? For that, I would have to look at yung mga signs doon sa street. And ganun ako Hindi ako magaling sa direction. Okay, so that's a challenge for me. But ang importanting part dito is you are listing everything down. You're taking stock of who you are. Okay? Bakit? I think self-awareness is something that not a lot of people practice. We kind of live our lives dun sa whim nung araw na yon. Ibig sabihin, kung na yung trip mong gagawin mo, di ba? Am I good ngayon? Maybe bukas hindi. Sa D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, no? If you're into role-playing and stuff like that. Yung sinasabi na ng chaotic daw, no? Chaotic na personality, parang gano'n. Parang kung ano yung mangyari, yun na lang ikaw. Kung ano yung dumating, kung sinong kasama mo, yun naging ikaw. But it's in knowing your likes and dislikes, strengths and challenges, that you kind of get a better look at who you are right now. And of course, with that, the things that you can improve. Okay? Now again, write it, column, likes and dislikes. Another set ng columns, strengths and challenges. And we have more to go. But before we do that, let's pause for a quick break.
siya yung bumibili ng planner taon-taon kasi New Year, New You. Oo. Pero hindi niya naman sinusulatan. Pala yun. Kasi daw pangit yung sulat niya, sayang yung papel. Tapos minsan, January, okay pa. Sinusulatan niya, ginagamit niya. February, okay pa. Tapos susunod niyang bubuksan, September na. Ganun ka rin ba? Ako rin kasi, kaya nga gumawa ko ng sarili kong planner. Ito ang planner na para sa mga try-hard, kagaya ko. At dahil hindi nakakahiya maging trying hard, mas nakakahiya to not try at all, nilagay na natin sa cover mismo. This planner is undated, kaya pwede mo simulan gamitin kahit kailan. At kung makakalimutan gamitin pwede mong gamitin ulit. Walang masasayang na papel. But I should warn you, this planner is not for everyone. Parang yung podcast natin. Others may look at it and say it's too much or it's too messy. Pero I made these choices para hindi kayo mahiyang gamitin. This is the kind of planner you can use and abuse. Aside from the monthly spread, weekly spread, at yung task list, meron din siyang mga activity sheets that you can use sa inyong journey sa personal development. At kung ready ka na bumili para sa'yo o para panregalo, you can go to bit.ly/tryinghardplanner. And for the first 100 orders hanggang November 30, I will also include a dedication kung gusto nyo lang naman. You just let us know dun sa notes kung kaninong pangalan ang isusulat. Now, I always tell you to dream big, work hard, and start now. This planner right here is actually one of my big dreams, so thank you all for making it come true.
Alright, so now we're back. We're going to talk about another set ng columns. Okay, now this is where we get really deep. Now again, pwede nyo namang hindi tuloy-tuloy yan. Pwedeng one day yung likes and dislikes, the other day yung strengths and challenges. Itong third column na to, kung hindi pa kayo ready to confront, pwede rin na i-put off nyo muna for a later date. But i-explain ko na sa inyo yung mechanics nito. Okay? I want you to write yung column din ng good, bad, and the ugly. Okay? You know how people would say that, parang idiom siya or phrase siya. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Okay? But I want you to write that down. What is good about you? What is bad about you? And then yung ugly parts that maybe you hide from other people. Okay? Ugly parts that you haven't really dealt with yet. Things that have cost you opportunities, that have cost you relationships, have cost you friendships in the past. Things that maybe even scare you about yourself. Okay? So again, ulitin natin ha. Meron ka ng likes and dislikes, strengths and challenges. This time, I want you to list the good, the bad, and the ugly about you. Okay? Now, why is this deeper than the first two lists ng mga mga columns? I guess kasi to put it in a rather medyo moralistic na standpoint, di ba? Sabi natin kasing good, may morality ng aspect It's mabuti siya. Ibig sabihin mabuti siya sa'yo, mabuti siya para sa ibang tao. Yung bad, ibig sabihin masama na siya. Yung ugly, mas malala. Kasi ibig sabihin, we try to keep it away from the world. But let me share something that I have dun sa columns na yon, sa sarili kong self-evaluation or sa sarili kong journey asking who I was. Under good, I wrote that I have this need to help other people. And I say need kasi I can't help myself. I can't help myself. I'm not saying that to glorify myself or to boast, no. Pero meron talaga ako nung thing na yon na I can't help myself. I need to help someone. Kasi I feel na if I don't live for others, my life will have no meaning. And akala ko for the longest time, everyone was like that. But, you know, how reality would hit you, lalo na ngayon, kahit nasa pandemic tayo, there are still people who are only looking out for themselves. I realized na hindi pala lahat ganon. So, I put it under the column ng good. That's something that's good about me. I have this inherent need to help others. Okay? Now, dun sa bad naman, okay, yung bad about me is that I don't particularly enjoy spending time with people. Okay? Now, ano yung sabihin nun? Yun nga, kasi nga I can go days without talking to people. What's bad about me is I can be as impersonal and withdrawn. And because of that, I guess, a lot of people, especially in my past, thought na, mayabang siya, kaya siya ganyan. And we talked about this in earlier episodes, right? Napag-usapan na natin yan. Yung smart problems, napag-usapan din natin yan a little bit. But it's the way that I withdraw from other people na nagiging bad for a lot of other people. Kasi ang dating is, hindi ko kailangan ng tao. Ang dating is, ayoko ng pleasure of their company. Or I just don't prioritize the people who are close sa akin sa life ko. So again, that's something bad about me. Okay? Now, ito na yung mas masakit. Kasi tapos na tayo sa good, tapos na tayo sa bad, doon na tayo sa the ugly. Now, what's an ugly part of me, of Lyqa? Okay. Ano ba? It's so hard to speak about it kasi, again, it's crossing yung lines ng intimacy, no? Which is, again, something that we do here naman sa Trying Hard podcast. I try to stay true dun sa mission mula nung nagsimula itong podcast nito na here is where I get vulnerable, I get honest, and we really dig deep dun sa mga recesses na yan. Pero an ugly part of my pagkatao is that I tend to hate myself. And I tried to poke fun at it by creating a TikTok video a few weeks back. I said there na I tell people na you should forgive yourself when you make mistakes. Pero when I make mistakes, I'm too hard on myself. But nilagay ko siya sa ugly, hindi lang sa bad. Kasi the level of self-loathing that I get at times is really more on the dangerous side. Okay? Ano ibig sabihin nun? If I make a single mistake, like if I misspeak, may na-mispronounce ako na word on a YouTube video or on a TikTok video, if I say something that someone misunderstands, I feel worthless. Okay? Because of that one mistake. And it's ugly because it's ugly for me. It's ugly for other people too, who need to deal with me while I'm in that process or I'm in that mindset. So yun yung sa akin. Good, bad, and ugly. And there are more of that. Okay? Now, ang hirap-hirap pala ilabas niyan, Ate Lyqa. Ang hirap-hirap ilabas niyan, Coach. Bakit natin pinag-uusapan? Now, the reason kung bakit kailangan natin pag-usapan is kasi dito natin sisimulan lahat. Yung process of becoming, of turning into this person that you want to be, always has to start with knowing who you are right now. Kasi if it doesn't, ang mangyayari, okay, ang idea would be parang nagtatayo tayo ng building sa sinkhole. Now, if you're unfamiliar with that, the idea is, di ba, sa surface ng Earth, mayroong mga pockets, o mga places na mukha namang flat yung surface, parang level naman yung lupa. Pero yun pala, merong empty na parang bubble sa ilalim niya. Kadalasan filled with water, okay? Tapos, ang nangyayari is kapag may well or something na sinuction yung tubig sa ilalim, nangyayari, nagiging space lang siya. So, bilog lang siya, na walang soil, okay? Hollowed out lang siya na piece, pero sa ibabaw, sa surface, mukha siyang flat. Kapag hindi natin ginawa ito, kapag hindi natin tinanong yung sarili natin ng who are you right now, para tayo nagtatayo ng building sa ibabaw nun. Pero eventually, even if nagtayo ka ng mataas na building doon sa surface na yon, ang mangyayari lang would be magka-crack yun, tapos babagsak. Okay? Bakit? Kasi wala siya ng foundation na kailangan. So again, I encourage you to do this activity. If you want to share it with me, you can always send it over to my Instagram account, tag me sa posts ninyo. But again, 3 activities. Number 1, what are your likes and dislikes? 2 columns, very simple. Start with the food that you want, the colors, your interests, anything like that. Number 2, what are your strengths and challenges? Okay? Or, yun nga, people sometimes call it weaknesses, but I tend not look at it that way. Write yung columns din na yun, punuin nyo din sila. And then yung third part, digging even deeper. What's good about you? What's bad about you? And what are the ugly things about you? Now, the ugly things, you don't need naman to proclaim to everyone. Okay? You know, we each have our innermost thoughts and our feelings and things that you would rather not talk about. But I want you to at least be honest with yourself. Okay? So you don't need to share the ugly parts with me. But be honest with yourself. What are the things that you hate about yourself that you're trying hard not to show? Because once you have that to surface, that's the time that we can deal with that. And that's the time that we can start asking, why are we like that? Which is actually the topic for the next episode sa series na ito. Okay? So again, trying hard to know yourself. Who are you? Yan ang question na gusto natin sagutin right now. Pero hindi siya natatapos lahat. In the next episode, pag-uusapan natin yung why are you like this. We're going to talk about trying hard to understand yourself. And if you don't want to miss that, don't forget to follow this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We would love for you to catch that next episode. And again, if you want to share your own insights, don't forget to use the hashtag trying hard with Lyqa, trying hard with LYQA. And of course, join the conversation. We also have a TikTok account, Trying Hard Podcast. We have the page and the Facebook community, Trying Hard Podcast community. Go ahead and join that so you can have conversations with your fellow tryhards. And that's it muna for now, I guess. Go ahead and finish your homework dito sa episode na ito. And again, simula pa lang ito. I'm excited for you to get to know who you are, but most importantly, who you can be after this entire process. And as we always say, sa channel na ito, sa podcast na ito, dream big, work hard, start now. And please, even in this process, try not to care about what other people think. We'll get there. Talk to you sa susunod na episode. Yun muna for now.